Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Briar Marketing. Today we're going to be talking about emotional versus rational ads and which one works better and when. All right, so first off, why does this matter? When we look at advertisements, we're kind of looking through two different scopes. One would be the emotional advertisement. This is something that triggers some emotions, it has some storytelling elements, and it can make various connections between different things. Now, when it comes to rational, this is using more, logic, facts, data, stats, things that proves the product is better. So let's look at emotional. Emotional appeals target feelings over logic. Its point is to create a strong brand association due to storytelling. It uses narratives, music, and visuals to connect with consumers on a personal level. These people usually remember emotional ads more than factual ones, as there's more of a story to it. Now let's look at the pros and cons of emotional appeals. One pro is it creates a strong brand loyalty. You're more likely to return if you get that sense of loyalty. It's more shareable. Emotional ads are much more shareable because it gives you something to talk about, some more substance that you can relate to other people and something that you could be excited about or sad about, something that affects you, something that you'd like to share. It also influences subconscious decision making. People often buy based off emotion first, and then they'll justify it later in their head. Now, what are some cons? It can be very manipulative. If overused, it might feel insincere. All right, so if we look at Kendall Jenner's advertisement for Pepsi, she was criticized a lot for exploiting social justice. Right? Another con, it's harder to measure return on investment. Emotional impact doesn't always lead to sales, right? It's a good way to get people in, but it's not necessarily the best way to sell. And another con would be, it's risky for certain industries. If we look at something a little more serious like tech or finance, right? It's not always about, getting the viewer to feel an emotion. It's more about selling what actually is. Now let's look at some examples. These two examples here, they both invoke an emotion that is, it could be an emotion out of fear or sadness or some other emotions like that that really polarize the viewer, make them question, what are they trying to tell me? Now let's take rational. Rational appeals use facts, statistics, and logical arguments to convince their consumers. This is often seen in industries where it's more based on functionality, price, or features. This works best to inform the buyers who actually want proof on why they should get the product before they get it. Now let's look at some pros and cons. One pro is it's great for high involvement purchases. So it helps justify things that are more expensive, like cars, insurance, and electronics. Another pro could be communicates product benefits. Consumers know exactly what they're getting when the information is directly conveyed to them. It also works better in business to business marketing. When business are looking to work with other companies, you're not selling them with emotion. You're selling them with how will it benefit them and how will it benefit the both of you. Now, some cons. It is less memorable when you use stats and numbers as opposed to emotions. Another con could be it may not create brand loyalty. Another con can be it's dry or it's boring. Sometimes numbers is not what people want to see in an advertisement. Now, here's some examples of rational ads. Right? If we look on the left, the most prominent thing in the advertisement is the number 100, and that's describing the calories. This is a direct quantitative value that is presented to us, and it's the selling point of the advertisement. Now, on the right, if we look at it, it's really talking about the automatic transition, showing um, cause and effect of what the product will do. Now, which one works better? To be honest, it really does depend on the product and the audience. To use an emotional ad, it appeals and works better for everyday consumer goods and lifestyle brands. But if we look at rational appeals, it's better for larger items and something that's a little more serious. Now, the goal should be to use both together. Ads that combine emotion and facts tend to be the most effective. Now, a great example of this would be Apple. They use emotional storytelling with the use of photography, music, and creativity, but they also highlight the technical aspects as their new features with their camera quality. You want to get the best of both worlds. That is really the best way you can sell your ad. Thank you. That's all we're going to do for this episode. I want to thank you for joining us, and I'll see you guys next week.